Hello all, and lend me your ear, for I will tell you of what I fear. These stories of what my mother knew, these stories that I will now pass to you. So sit and relax, but listen close, for I don't mean to boast, but these tales could one day save your skin. So pay attention and listen in. It had seen the family move in earlier that day. They would be easier targets, especially the little girl. She was small and naive. Her dog, a black and white collie, would be the skin suit it had decided to wear. The plan was impeccable. It had been almost 3 months since it last had fed. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, right? It sure was fond of its prey. After all, they were what gave it life. They were what made it whole. And by God did they taste good. First it would go after the girl, lure her out into the woods until it could get her alone. Then it would go for the parents, this time using her form. All would come in good time, yet also not soon enough. Now it was watching the girl from the tree line. She was playing with her dog, jumping and running, both of them having fun, both having no idea that they would soon be dead in a couple of days. If it were in a human skin, it would be smiling, but since it wasn't, it looked more like a snarl, saliva dripping from its mouth like honey onto a pastry. Soon the little girl was called inside. Leaving the dog alone, it coughed a couple times, trying to recreate the girl's voice, and then it called out to the dog.
Billy! Over here! Come on, boy!
It saw the dog's head turn, then it tilted to the side, confused. How did the little girl get over there so fast without it noticing? Then the thing called again to the dog.
Billy, come on!
It said, still mimicking her voice. Then the dog ran towards it. The thing smiled wider. The animal's death, like any other, was gruesome. After it had eaten the insides and discarded the bones, it stuffed its own body into that of the dog's. Its bones cracked and bent into the shape of the skin, until it looked like the dog's should. The only difference was a slightly rotten smell coming from it. The thing walked around for a while, getting used to the shape and feeling of the animal, and then it darted back to the house. The little girl had apparently become worried, and started calling out to the dog. When she saw the animal running towards her, she smiled.
Billy, there you are. You scared me.
She sighed and then leaned down to pet what she thought still was her dog. The closer she got, the more it could smell the little girl. The aroma made its mouth water, so it closed its mouth to stop itself from drooling. It turned toward the trees and paced back and forth from the girl, once even barking in the process. It was trying to get her to follow it to the tree line. Once it got her in the woods, it would be easy and a matter of time before it got its feast. Then the girl's father walked in. They had started to talk, and the girl brought up the dog's behavior. But the man waved it off. He told her that dinner would be in about 30 minutes. It didn't understand much English, but it knew that that wouldn't be enough time to lure the girl into the woods. It would have to wait longer. Later, it was feeding time for the humans. They sat around a large oak table, talking and chatting. Little did they know, soon they would be gone. All it could do was think about the day that they would become its food, but it had to wait. Soon, but not yet. After the humans ate, they went to sleep. It should wait until it knew their routine. It knew that, but it couldn't wait, and it was confident that it could do it quickly and quietly. The animals sat there for about 3 hours, just to make sure that they were deep asleep. After it could confirm that they were, it nudged the little girl awake. It tried to be as quiet as possible, still waking her up. It couldn't let the parents know that she was awake. After waking her up, it went outside, quietly. It sulked through the trees, losing her behind it. It knew the forest like the humans know the back of their hands, but the little girl didn't. She wouldn't be able to find anything, not even an exit. It would wait for her to get desperate and start running. Then, when she got tired, that's when it would attack. It just kept thinking and thinking about when it would. It was ecstatic. Its bones started to crack in anticipation, getting ready to burst out of the dog suit. But it had to be patient still. It decided to watch the child from a distance. It stood up and walked in the direction her aroma was wafting from. It walked quickly, and once it got within hearing distance of her worried panting, it jumped into the tree line, now stalking her from above. It quietly jumped from one branch to another, making sure to stay completely silent. Finally, it caught sight of the little girl. She was walking around, almost in a circle, calling out to her dog.
Billy! Billy, where are you? Come here, boy.
The little girl called out. She looked scared. That was good. The adrenaline always made it taste better. It sat there in the trees for a while, hoping the fear would build up in the young girl. It listened and watched as she went in circles looking for her dog. Little did she know that what was left was sitting right above her in the trees. It had been almost 2 hours, and the sun would come up soon. So it had decided to pounce. It leaped from a tall tree, landing hard on the ground. At first, the little girl was happy to see it, and then she saw its eyes. They were gleaming red like no other dog she had seen. Her gaze drifted from the dog's eyes and saw the bones underneath, ready to burst out of the skin, like they didn't quite fit. She stepped back, shaking with fear. She let out a horrified scream. This wasn't good. The thing lunged at her, only causing her to scream louder. It slashed its long claws, trying to get any grip on the child. Somehow, she evaded it, now only screaming louder. It could hear it in the distance, the family's house door opened and closed. Rushed footsteps entering the woods. It wasn't going to lose this meal. It was too hungry. It tried to get her from all angles, bouncing around, trying to get in any leverage on the young one. Snarling, it let out a growl as if it were a human.
Why won't you die?
Soon, it heard the footsteps getting even closer. The parents, turning the corner, saw what was happening. The mother screamed her heart out while the father grabbed the nearest stick and lunged at the thing, calling for the little girl to get away. He screamed at them to go back inside and call 911. Then they left. The creature was furious. This grown adult had ruined its chance at a meal. Something it had not gotten in over 3 months. That's when it made a mistake. It lunged at the man, and it was not afraid. And neither was he. Even when the stick the man had been wielding went clean through the front and back of the animal. It didn't realize it had let out a yelp, and it didn't take long before the animal died, still crawling towards the house. About 2 hours later, the police arrived. The father had dragged the corpse into the backyard. At this point, the skin was still bursting at the seams. What seemed to be a deformed human coming out from inside. It had long arms and legs, with no hair anywhere on the body. It was pale white, and its eyes looked like giant black saucers. The man had not let the girl or his wife see the thing. It freaked even him out. The police took the family's statements and concluded that the thing was some sick person who had escaped a mental asylum, or something akin to that. The family wasn't sure about that conclusion, though. He had seen the speed at which the thing moved. It was not human. That thing was something else entirely. Later, after the police had contacted the zoo to take a better look at the animal, when he went outside to meet them, right before they showed up, the corpse had disappeared, only leaving a trail of green slime leading into the woods. Goodbye all, but remember what I've said. Have fun tonight up in bed. These stories will swim in your dreams as they did in mine, so it seems. I'll now leave you with what my mother once said. Good night, I love you. Now go to bed.